Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to talk about a leather sleeve I found for the MacBook Air. I purchased a M1 MacBook Air recently for some office work, just some everyday use. I needed a new computer. I previously had the MacBook Pro 13-inch and it was probably from 2012 or around that time, almost 10 years old. So that computer, as you can imagine, was just outdated. I was actually using my iPad full time for everything. And there's some things I found that I just really needed a computer to do that the iPad just wasn't as capable of. So anyways, I bought the nice new MacBook Air. Like every Apple product, they're made out of metal, they scratch easily, they can, get nicked up pretty easily. They're gorgeous products, but you need something to protect your product. So I did not want some bulky case, some snap-on case, or anything like that. This computer is going to be mainly used in my house. I may travel with it, but I'm not going to be taking it, on the go all day, every day like I do my iPad. I take my iPad basically everywhere I go for work. But the computer is probably going to stay at home 99% of the time. So I wanted something I could just slide the computer into to protect it so I can, just keep it clean basically. And I looked for several cases out there. I wanted something very slim and sleek and just a nice leather material. There's several companies out there. Harber London is the one I ended up going with. The reason I chose them is because they seem to have the thinnest material out there, and I like the color. There's a couple things I like and a couple things I don't like about the product, so I'll get into that now. On their website here it says that it is super slim design, fits like a glove, keeps bulk to a minimum. All those are great. They're definitely true. It's very thin. 100% wool felt lining, which you can see it very, very soft, nice wool lining. It's not thick, but it's enough to keep your MacBook protected. I wouldn't drop it with this in there. It probably wouldn't offer much drop protection. It says, handmade by expert craftsmen in Spain, made with full-grain vegetable tan cowhide leather. It does look like it's very good quality leather. And you can tell just by me having it for a couple days, it does have some wear and tear on it, just a couple nicks and scratches here, which is what you want. You want your leather to develop a nice patina, and that's what you want. So first starting out, the stitching is pretty elegant and simple stitching, just not too thick, not too obnoxious. Some of these cases, the leather sleeves had this huge thick stitching. I really didn't like it. So this is a plus, that the stitching was pretty minimalistic. I slide the MacBook in with the fat end up to keep the stretch to a minimum. That way it's not stretching out the bottom of the case here. Slide the MacBook in. If you'll notice, it fits tight, but it would fall out if you shook it out. It'll come out. You can it'll come out if you hold it upside down. But it's not meant for me to carry it around in public. I'm not using it for that. I do like that it covers the top here. If you pinch that shut, when you put it in a backpack, this will actually, kind of come together and cover the edge of the MacBook. This case slides like this. Several on the market out there slide in lengthwise, and I know now that I would probably prefer one that slid in from the side, because the problem with this case is you can't access your charging ports. If they were to cut a slit right here to allow the charging pass-through to happen, as you can see when I plug this charger in, you can have it sitting like that, but it's not all the way in the case. So I'd prefer if I could I can shove it in there and force it, but it's not, you can clearly tell it's not meant, it's putting pressure on the port. I don't want to do that. So the charger really needs to be about here. And if they made the case so that the charger could plug in through the side right there, so you could charge it in the case, I think that'd really be about the only improvement I can see them making on this case, or sleeve rather. I call it a case, but it's more, they call it a sleeve. So if the charger could plug into the side, that'd be really good. But I just don't know why they didn't include that. It's obviously an afterthought, The thing about it is, the battery life on these things is so great, you're probably not going to be charging it in the case that much anyways. That's why I kind of overlooked that feature, was because, let's see, I've been using this all day long to do spreadsheets and other documents and stuff. And what's my battery life at? Let's see. It is 74% battery, and I've been using this since 10 o'clock, and it's now 1:10. So I've been using this pretty heavily for several hours, and I'm at 74% battery. That's with maximum screen brightness as well. So it just goes to show that, you're probably not going to be charging this thing much. So that's my thought of the Harber London leather sleeve. Check them out. This is not a sponsored video. I will not make any money from this video. They make tons of other things. If you can see the iPad here, just some photos. I'll put some on screen. But they also make different sleeves for the MacBooks, the iPads. Here's some different zip-up sleeves, some things like that. They also make, let's see, accessories. They do Apple Watch straps. These desk mats are pretty cool. Just a desk mat to put your iPad on. Pretty cool little thing. This actually has a pass-through to run the cable to your keyboard, which I think is really cool. They do wallets, all kinds of stuff. So if you're in the market for some nice leather goods for Apple accessories, definitely check out Harber London. Again, this is not a sponsored video by any means. I just like to shout out the companies that I use. There's also another company out here called Woolnut, and what I like about their product is that their sleeve, well, first off, one of them has a zipper, and I don't really like the zipper. I didn't want any zippers to make any scratches or anything like that, but they make a sleeve that's more of a portrait sleeve, like this. And I like that because you could slide it in from the side and charge from the side. So I probably would go with them as well if you want something portrait. This company does not offer anything in the portrait, style. But I like the color of this case. This has the green. This has the, vertical style. So this does allow access to the ports on the side if you go with that kind of orientation. Say you're buying this for a MacBook Pro and you really want to be able to charge the computer in the case, maybe go with something like the Woolnut where you have that access to the charging ports on the side. If you're buying it for a MacBook Air, or you just really don't think you're going to need to charge your MacBook, I mean, these M1 Macs, the battery life's incredible. Something like this landscape style leather sleeve would work just fine. Just remember, again, you're not going to have access to your charging ports. But just an overall nice soft case, very elegant to leave on the desk and just have something, to protect the MacBook when you're not using it.